We know that there has been a range of disinfo out there about a range of topics, I mean, including COVID, for example, and also elections and eligibility. It sounds like the objective of the board is to prevent disinformation and misinformation from traveling around the country in a range of communities. I'm not sure who opposes that effort.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki defending the Department of Homeland Security's new Disinformation Board. Secretary Mayorkas says it will crack down on what it considers to be online misinformation.
Yeah, Disinformation Governance Board is their title for it. Coming after days after Elon Musk's Twitter takeover, many questioning the timing and if it's potentially going to violate free speech. Joining us now to discuss that is former White House senior advisor and Navy Reserve Intelligence Officer Paul Chabot. Also, Newsmax contributor and ambassador with the America First Policy Institute, Tom Borelli, and Donna Jackson, Director of Membership Development of Project 21 Black Leadership Network. Good to see everyone here, and thanks so much for coming on. I kind of just moved down the line, Paul, if I can start with you on this. So here it is, going through the timeline, Elon Musk acquiring Twitter. Again, that's still in the process, which will take time. But then now you have this Disinformation Governance Board. Your thoughts on this creation and why it's happening?
First off, it's chilling to hear that happen in America. We expect that in China, but not our country. You know, further, I think it's just the White House in shambles right now, not knowing what to do. Their president is not doing well. Our president is not doing well at either place in front of the camera. And now you have Twitter potentially opening up as a true free speech platform. And the White House, for some reason, forgot to vet the person they put out in front to run the so-called committee that mimics what we see in countries that we don't align with. So this is un-American, and I'm glad to see the pushback.
Yeah. There have been some questions now about Nina Jankowicz's background as well, because she's been named, and now people are going through her tweets, right? It's always the tweets that come back to haunt you. Tom Borelli, let me show our viewers what I'm talking about here. This has to do with the Hunter Biden laptop. She tweeted this out, saying, back on the laptop from hell, apparently Biden notes 50 former NatSec officials and 5 former CIA heads that believe the laptop is a Russian influence op. Trump says Russia, Russia, Russia. 18 months ago, this was sent out. She says, essentially, she was quoting the presidential debate at the time in reference to that tweet. But Tom, what do you make of it?
Well, I mean, what I see and hear is that this woman is nothing more than a political hack. And it is chilling that she's going to be head of the Ministry of Truth. But I think the reason why they're doing this is because they know the Democrat policies and Biden's policies are harming Americans. Inflation is skyrocketing. Gasoline prices are going through the roof. We have an open border. So the only thing they can do is try to sweep these policies under the rug by hiding speech. And let's not forget, former President Obama was about a week ago. He was worried about miscommunication, disinformation on the internet. You have to wonder who's really running this country. Is it Biden or is it Obama? The remedy to bad speech is more speech, and I think Elon Musk has it right. This is not your father's Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is a party of extremists.
I'll go to Donna on this. What kind of action can be taken? So if you have this Disinformation Governance Board, as it's being called, what essentially could they do? What can they enforce? Are they going to send a bunch of folks out to the Piggly Wiggly and stop picking up all the tabloids off the shelf as you check out at the grocery line? I mean, there's clearly misinformation everywhere. We've lived in this world for quite some time. People can choose to read what they want, watch what they want. What does enforcement look like?
You know, what's disturbing about this, and when you're talking about enforcement, is how this echoes the FBI in the 1960s when they went after Dr. Martin Luther King and civil rights leaders for being the purveyors of disinformation. In other words, what they deemed as spreading communism. And we know what happened to them. They put them in jail. They infiltrated the organizations. They tried everything they could to stop the civil rights movement at that time. And they're using this board as that same type of springboard to go after average Americans, not because the information they're saying is factually not true, but it runs opposed to what they want the truth and narrative to be out there. So we've seen this in this country, in our history, directed at Black people who were just fighting for their freedom of speech and constitutional rights. And Biden and the Biden administration wants to recreate that intimidation.
DHS, by the way, was created to stop
just
terrorism.
like we did there.
Yeah,
That was the whole
and
kicker.
secure our borders as well. There's a lot of questions about this governance board here. Essentially, we've seen private social media companies use their censorship, but would be coming from the government. So again, a major First Amendment question there. Panelists, if you could stay with us, though, some other questions for you coming up.